I think it's just a matter of like the validator rotation, making sure the network's good to go, also timing the BTC bottom with the Mt. Gox thing. That's our next best chance. Other than that, then we have no frame of reference for any potential idea of anything.
I don't think Richard would try to time the release of this project like with the bottom of the market. Like it wouldn't even be necessary. Like as
I believe that too. Everybody like has said that, but he's never said it. And he said, no, I'm not timing the bottom of the market.
like if they had launched like with the time frame that he had given sort of in the beginning, like let's say that did happen, the only thing that would have accomplished is everyone who sacrificed would be getting wrecked right now, right? And instead everybody's safe, chilling, waiting, and it's gonna be all good.
I said this earlier about Coinbase that it's going to be so easy for them to integrate Pulsechain into their cells now that they have a Uniswap front end. All they have to do is put a switch to go to Pulsechain on their integrated wallet. So
all they have to do is put Pulsex on their execution. It's a website. It's easy.
No, but they don't have to hold any coins is what I'm saying. All they have to do is put the RPC settings in the wallet that's integrated in their app, and people can just buy it through the app. I'm sure they'll make money by holding some too and putting it on the site, but they don't even have to do that. I'm just saying how easy it could be for them to do it if they wanted.
They could literally put Pulsex on their app and then charge an extra like 0.1% fee on top.
Oh, you mean Pulsex, not the coin, but the DApp?
No, I'm talking about the DApp. I'm talking about, forget Uniswap. They could literally put Pulsex in there. You know, it's a different website, put in the new RPC, boom, done.
Wow.
200,000 plus users right out of the gate when we deploy Pulse, plus the airdrop to like millions of wallets. It's just game over.
So Pulse and Pulsex parity. What do you think about that?
I think who gives a shit? Because they're gonna both do so much X, it doesn't matter. But will they have parity? That deflationary piece of Pulsex, man, is powerful, man. You know, it burns way fast, but there's not a lot of Pulse available on the float once this thing launched at all. There's just not. There's like 6.5 trillion or something like that to be bought up. Everything else is gone. So I don't know, man.
Right now, the biggest pair on the testnet is Pulsex to Pulse. I mean, it says 2.5 billion in liquidity, but obviously these are made up numbers. But point is, like, that's the primary biggest number one pair on the farm right now.
178 million Pulsex burned 24 hours on testnet. That's a lot of Pulsex burned in 24 hours, man. 57 billion's been burned in total so far. So yeah, it is exciting all the way around, brother. There's no way to look at it. This thing's gonna launch after this wait. That's delayed gratification piece, and gonna launch. It's gonna be like the best relief you've ever had. It's gonna be like the best sex you ever had with your wife, man.
That's for sure.
There's also the other argument that says that people will dump.
Yeah, so if you're specifically talking about price, yeah, I think that we're going to see what we always see. We're going to see a market made. We're going to see some kind of a 5x, 10x, 20x, wherever. It's going to have a blow off, probably come down 85%, and then Pulsechain started. Its life started, and from there we'll kind of find a floor, and that's how the market will be made.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that point. So I just think that maybe there's some people that think it's just going to go, straight and up to the right forever. That's not a real good assumption.
Yeah, Richard literally said on stream it'll take a year. You want to launch in a bear market so that your chart looks like a giant hockey stick, right? And then, give it a year to shake out the losers. That's what he said.
Yeah, I mean, you should have a mindset, in my opinion, into 2025. Up that way.
Totally agree.
24.
Yeah,
You got
2 to 5 years.
Like all this short term. I mean,
yeah, some of the hexicans are sort of already locked in, right? So they sort of can't sell because they've, bought their T shares and sent it out to the future. I just think that, you want.
Yeah, but that's hex. We're talking about Pulsechain.
I get it. I'm just saying.
Well, it's the mentality. People are going to get wrecked. First of all, people think they're going to get a good deal when they swap their Pulsex for Pulse before the bridge is open. They think they're going to get a sick deal. Just imagine, the potential based on other layer one blockchains, over the last 2 years since launch, right? And the same thing with DEXs since launch. And look at the ROI and the X's that they both.
I wouldn't do that. Don't do that. Look, this is a new network. We don't know anything of this this is what's beautiful about it, is that nobody truly knows. But once it hits, man, we'll all be here figuring this shit out together.
But we do know some things, right? We do have some metrics from the past. So the best way to try to know the future is to study the past. We do know that the blockchain is starting with 200 something thousand, 150 minimum thousand users with an airdrop. It's EVM compatible. There's shitloads of product market fit. There's tons of dApps that are being built with the no admin key, don't get ripped off philosophy and mindset, which people are being attracted to left and right now. It is Richard Hart, who has not ripped off anybody in spite of the fact that they've all said he's a scammer, and he's the exact opposite. So when you look back at the last 7 EVM chains that launched empty, you guys know it. It's an average of 650x in 14 months. So why would we look at all the other ones and say they all did that? Pulse has all this going for it. It's massive. And let's talk about the nominal figures. I think that Pulse has an opportunity because people want freedom, they want liberty, they want the chain to actually be something that's legit with all kinds of stuff on it. And it's kind of hitting at the perfect time. So I think that a lot of our community is bought into the naysayer Richard's a scam narrative, and it's kind of stifled a lot of people's what they think Pulse might be able to do. For anybody who's pessimistic, it's obviously just the wait. Obviously that is the part where, people who did put in maybe more than they should have, thinking it was going to launch sooner than it is. Let's just be real. It's rough, but you didn't have to do that. Nobody forced you, So
Exactly.
we want the chain to launch when it's been battle tested, when they've done everything and at the right time. That's what's going to be best for everybody, even the people who are struggling with the wait. But I totally get
and that was almost my point earlier about, some of those people may be very short-term thinkers when, it does launch, which is not great for them. You almost want to try to encourage the community to be a little longer focused. Those people may have been more patient, but now they're getting itchy.
I mean,
They're the ones that are going to sell, and I'll gladly buy.
listen, man, I need a 50,000x on my $100 in 2 weeks. Pulsechain can't do that, then I'm just going to give up on crypto.
Yeah, I want my fucking sacrifice back, man.
it's a 10,000x to 10,000.
I'm not in the group. I'm just saying there's a group out there like that. That's all I'm saying.
There was about 40,000 addresses that sacrificed, and some people sacrificed from multiple wallets. So we could probably weed it down to maybe 30,000, 35,000. Yeah, and half of those people were under $1,000. So yeah, they're gonna dump, but I think the demand is gonna exceed the supply for sure.
I think the buy pressure is gonna outweigh the sell pressure for a while. I don't know.
Yeah.
Especially when like you said, you factor in the buy and burn on Pulsex.
Which is fine, bro. Get those plebs out of Pulsechain day one.
I feel like the people who will sell aren't gonna have enough.
We just have to see how it goes. If we try to base it, price, I just meant price. If we try to predict the price based off of what other chains did and stuff like that, here's the thing. It might, what if it does twice as good? What if it does 4 times as good? This is what I'm just trying to point out, is that, it could really exceed our expectations based off of previous projects, because this one is so much better.
I agree with you.
Obviously Richard said, we know everything gets airdrop 0. Well, it has to. Well, it's also kind of interesting that the bridges don't open for 24, 48 something hours, right? So there will go live. Won't be any dollar amount in the system. Everything gets airdropped at 0. Ratios start getting applied. And then sometime later, the bridge is technically open and the dollar value is introduced into those ratios. And
I like what the gentleman Jake said, the smart computer brother, and he was talking about how basically the sacrifice being, 3 zeros and a 1 average, it gets hard to bring it underneath that price when that's the floor that we all bought. Who wants to sell it at that? And then when you take the reality of, how much will be in the liquidity pool to buy with the amount of demand, it's just, guys, what scenario do the sellers, win on the people buying this stuff up? I just don't see it. In all my time in crypto, I just don't see it. And I mean a time frame, guys. I don't mean 30 days. I'm talking my gosh, Pulsechain after 12 months, I think everybody's going to be feeling real happy.
2.5 years, Mando.
Yeah, that's a good thing to say. The timing is important. It's not immediate. Yeah.
Well, let's also just say that it's very doubtful that any layer 1 technology, any layer 1 blockchain, that has product market fit use case, timing, everything, tokenomics, burn, deflationary, everything. Like, it's kind of crazy to think that, okay, would it really take a year to go to a penny with these systems, with this type of never before seen financial product, cutting edge, built from the ground up without admin keys, smart contract based, well, for Pulsex, but Pulse being a completely brand new layer 1, proof of stake, better version of ETH, just the whole thing. I mean, validator rotation, the whole fucking 9 yards. Those types of systems with that product market fit are going to take, from a price appreciation perspective, a longer than a 12 to 36 or 24, 36 month to go to pennies.
Like, you're right on that sense. And yeah, absolutely, the performance on price should be pretty astronomical given, what I've seen. And look, it's not even out yet, and there's already all this cool stuff built. Like, the devs are fire, and it's only going to get bigger. So for sure. But yeah, like, we still have to be realistic in the fact that price fundamentals are not the only contributor to price. So it'll trade like everything else. It'll be up, it'll be down, but overall we're going to win.